something and they don't know anything about the player they're talking about, and they're just like making things up as they go, and they're not adding any substance to the game. That is something that just irks my nerves when I'm watching. So I applaud you, like, for that mindset that you have about being prepared and knowing what's going on, not only on your team side, but also on the other team as well.
Thank you, Cody. And, you know, you've got the key to the kingdom in a way, because you're a coach. And I tell young broadcasters that if they sit still for long enough to have a conversation, I'll try to tell them that do not take the bait on feeling like you have to say something topical, or you have to say something spicy, or you have to say that this was the left cornerback that didn't get turned around, that it was his fault, or this was the safety who didn't work his way over quickly enough. Only the coaches know. Only the coaches and maybe the players know what really happened on that play. So you need to be very careful dealing out it's okay to say that you don't know. It's okay to find something else to focus on. But I would move the planets around to get to a practice. I would do anything I could if I could get a coach or two to visit with me after the game, if I could find out where they were meeting or where they were eating or where they were watching film, and just hang out and just soak up a little bit of the secrets that are inherent in every single football play, but that will reveal themselves to the curious mind.
And I can attest to that too, because sometimes you'll be watching a game on TV and like for example, on social media, I'll see like if Will missed a block or something for the Jaguars and he comes home and we're talking about it, he's being ridiculed by fans and media like he missed the block. But in actuality, because of the design of the play, it wasn't his assignment that got missed, but maybe to the casual fan or the person who doesn't know or doesn't speak the language, it looks like it's his fault, if that makes sense.
Listen to this. A couple years ago, to your point, training camp, Wofford, the upstate, sweltering hot cafeteria area, about 12:15 on maybe day 7 of training camp in probably 2017. I happened to be at a table with Luke Kuechly. It's a collection of people. So you got internet guy, you got Luke Kuechly, you got a couple other players, you got me. It was just sort of this melting pot of guys. And Luke Kuechly starts talking about a play in Super Bowl 50 where he knows the formation, he knows the personnel grouping, he knows the down and distance, and he knows that Peyton Manning is going to throw to a certain spot, and he's jumped it, and he's going to intercept the pass, and he's going to take it to the house. Now, all of us are just leaning in. Luke's describing this situation in exhaustive detail. But right as Manning is about ready to throw the ball to Kuechly, who's jumped it, KK Short hits Manning's elbow from behind and dislodges the ball. What was going to be a pick six and give the Panthers the lead in Super Bowl 50 and change the whole momentum of the game turned out to be an incomplete pass. This told me, holy Toledo, every play is probably like this. Yeah. Someone steps on someone's foot. Someone zigs when they should have zagged. Someone forgets the snap count. Someone's in the right place at the wrong time or the wrong place at the right time on almost every single play in every single game.
Every single play. And that's why I think it really comes down to when you hear coaches in the NFL talk about every single play matters. It literally does. Like one messed up snap to one holding call to one offsides penalty to 1 yard, you're stepping out of bounds when you could have got 1 extra yard. It literally matters. Every snap, every yard, every inch matters. And I didn't realize that until I got into the NFL. Every bit of it matters. But like we're talking about, not everybody sees that or not everybody notices that. Like not everybody wants to accept that. Like, nobody wants to accept that. It really wasn't that thrown interception that messed you up. It was that offsides when y'all were 2 yards from getting the first down the last possession.
I know. And then exactly. And then Dean Smith used to say when he'd be asked about a player who missed the front end of a 1-and-1 with a score tied at 69 with 8 seconds to go, Coach Smith would always say, what about the basket? What about the screen we didn't switch on in the first half? What about the alley-oop pass that was thrown too high early in the second half? His point being that, like you said, Will, it's this tapestry, these building blocks of coups and counter coups and mistakes and great plays and strategy and the climate, the weather, everything this falls into play. And I think isn't it one reason why we love athletics? It's the one place we can go where we have really no idea. We might think we know, but we have no idea what's going to happen and who's going to win.
True. And this Mick Mixon, everybody, voice of the Carolina Panthers here.
Such an honor to have him on. Mick, let me ask you, going back to your time at Carolina, if there was like a singular moment, maybe it was a game, an interaction with a coach or a player in either football or basketball, what would you say was one that really stood out to you or you enjoyed the most?
Oh, gosh, there were so many, but I'm going to tell you one that I'm going to share with you that I might not have selected a couple of weeks ago. Let's just be honest. Things are different now. Do they not feel different to you guys? And I was telling my wife the other night about this defensive back that North Carolina had. I believe he was from Georgia back in the day, before the day. You guys probably weren't even born yet, but his name was Omar Brown. Omar had this cinnamon skin. He was a good-looking kid, very intelligent, very layered, very nuanced, but he was tough. He'd grown up hard scrap, and he was mean-looking too. I don't know why he put his trust in me or why he allowed me to feel comfortable asking him questions, but I would ask him questions about his life and his views and his philosophy. And one time I was interviewing him, and we were talking, and I said, Omar, why is it that people of different colors, different skin colors, get along so much better on athletic teams than we seem to be able to do in society at large? Now, this is probably early 90s, I'm guessing. And Omar said, Mick, it's simple. I'll tell you the reason why. In athletics, we're forced together. We all come together on a team, and we realize over time that we're so much more alike than we are dissimilar. All of us want essentially the same thing. We just want to be happy. We want a good shot at life. We want to have friends. We want to have relationships. We want to get jobs when we leave here. Some of the white guys on this team are some of my best friends. They'll be in my wedding someday. I'll be in theirs. And it's just one of the gifts that football and team sports give. I thought that was I got chills then and do now just remembering the words of Omar Brown.
That's awesome. That's totally awesome. And especially with the time that's going on now, just to hear things like that, back in that time, just to hear that that's how it was back then is just a great thing to hear, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun. You know, there's all kind. I'm gonna try to plug my phone in. I'm getting these low battery things. I don't want to lose you guys, so let me try to find my charger while we're talking. But you know, there's tons of fun. Great funny things that happen and interactions with coaches and all that are memorable to me. But that one talking to Omar that time was a blast.
So Mick, from there. So you become the voice of the Carolina Panthers. Can you kind of talk about that journey from
that was my wife, by the way. Did you see her?
Yeah, I did.
She's mad at me for showing her, but that's okay. I'll deal with her when we hang up.
So just talk to us a little bit about your journey from North Carolina to the Panthers and maybe some of the challenges you faced along the road, and what are some of the biggest adjustments that you had to make?
Well, I had to get some better rims for my truck in the parking lot of the Bank of America Stadium, for one thing, because I realized my vehicle was lacking. Got all these tricked out pickup trucks with guys that are outdoorsmen hunting and fishing. You got all these other
Tell
cars
me about
I
it.
hardly know the name of. Will, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I pulled up. I wasn't even a part of the Jags yet, and I pulled up and I seen Marcel Darius's Brinks truck. He has a money truck that the inside he has alligator seats and stuff. And I mean, it's crazy. But yeah,
I remember Darius. I remember that got some publicity. We had Mario Addison on our team, Super Mario. And I used to talk cars with Mario. He had 11 cars, including 2 vintage Camaros. And I pulled up one time in my 1991 Lexus LS 400 with dual antennas I put on there and 22s on it. And I get out, and Mario is so shocked to see this ectomorphic Caucasian get out of this car whatever he was expecting. I don't know, but I love these sedans. I got 2 of them. And he looked at me and he goes, Mick, man, do people know about you? And I said, Mario, shh, no, they do not. And I prefer that you keep it secret. But no, I'm not dodging your question, Cody. Let me see. First thing, and Will could speak to this too. My first couple NFL practices, I couldn't believe how there's almost never a physical misplay. The ball is almost never on the ground. The skill level of these exquisitely talented athletes is just off the chain. The second thing is there's rarely, with the possible exception of Mike Tolbert maybe, you rarely ever come across any bad bodies in an NFL locker room. I mean, they're cut, they're ripped. You might think you're pretty stout. Maybe you can go to the gym and do 10, 15 wide grip pull-ups and, maybe squeeze off your 20 dips or whatever. Don't even think about mentioning any of your little puny what you might have accomplished to these NFL guys. They're just so strong and so quick and so fast. It's unbelievable. The last thing I'll say about this is that I wondered if they would be not as approachable because they're pros, but I found the opposite to be true. I found that many cases they're big kids. They love it. They love the game. The locker room's where they want to be. And do you agree with that, Will? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like, especially about the locker room is like where we want to be. Like here at the Jaguars, we look at our locker room as like our home, like this is where we can come and we can unite and we can be one, so definitely.
And Mick, you're also, you're talking to the biggest kid I know. I mean, literally the biggest kid I know. All this guy does is watch cartoons and watch funny videos and stuff. He's the most childish person I know, but great friend.
Well, your show's got a great feel to it, and I'm so honored to be a small part of it. I listened to a little bit of you guys when the invitation crossed my path, and I thought, man, I don't know if I even belong on this thing. This thing's got momentum. It's hip. It's happening. It's current. I'm going to have to raise a level of my game, which I'm not sure I'm capable of doing.
Oh, no, that's an honor for you to even say that. No, that's an honor to us, just having you on here, I wish I could honestly communicate and speak as good as you do and just so fluently. And you talk about Stephen A., but just sitting here and listening to you speak and pause at times and make certain statements. And, it's just amazing to hear it. You can tell you've been doing it for a long, long time, but you can also tell that you love what you do for sure.
You're very kind. Thank you, Will. That means a lot coming from you. It sincerely does. And I love the English language. I'm nobody's. I'm a Southerner. I'm nobody's. I don't speak the King's English. I sometimes I might want to say me and Will and Cody were on the podcast. I know that's grammatically incorrect, but that just might be the way I feel like saying it. But I so regret that the English language is being butchered by these young adults who use the word like inappropriately. They use it as a vocal pause, a bookmark. They use it and don't even realize they use it. They just litter their sentences with it mindlessly. The word literally is totally misused so much by the young adults. And then some of them that I used to teach in my journalism classes that I taught at UNC and at Wake Forest, this whole up talking where declarative sentences go like up at the end.
Oh yeah.
Where everything ends on an uptick and they sound like the Kardashians and stuff.
Oh yeah. I know exactly.
It drives me nuts. I mean, if you want to ask a question, ask it with that inflection. If you want to make a statement, make your statement.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang it.
So sticking on the Panthers a little bit. So tell me a little bit about who was your favorite Panther all time, defense and offense.
On defense, Thomas Davis.
Okay.
Great
TD.
Linebacker, number 58. Here's why. One of the many reasons I love TD. I'll tell this to you quickly. I'm speaking at a Charlotte Sportsman's Club at Quail Hollow Country Club some years ago. Do you remember Greg Hardy?
Yeah.
When Greg Hardy was charged with some improprieties involving a female and some weapons, and it's just not a good story. But this is in the middle of the summer. This is mid-July. The Greg Hardy story had made the rounds, I'm speaking at this country club event, this sportsman's event. Thomas Davis was there.